and they don't understand, and they don't realize what's going on in the rest of the country. But of course, because it's reported on the whole time. And just this week, I'm on a trip around the country. I'll be in D.C. tomorrow. I'll be checking out the pavilion, exactly. But yesterday I was in Texas, and we filled up with gas in Texas, 3.59. On Monday in Los Angeles, 8.59.
A gallon?
8.59. You can see the video. And so that's not Trump. That's not the Iran war. That is 100% Democrat policies in California, deliberately gouging especially working people and small business owners who use their cars and trucks many hours a day. And that's what I'm going to change. My plan, $3 gas.
Governor, potentially Steve Hilton in California. I don't know if that's possible, but it's more possible now than it ever has been before. Do the socialist leaning, if not socialist identifying, policies turn blue states into the economic hellholes that they are? Well, somebody knows a lot about that. Steve Moore's joining us once again, co-founder of the Committee for Prosperity, host of More Money, and author of The Trump Economic Miracle. Steve, welcome back to the show. Happy Monday.
Hi, Annie. Good to be with you.
What do you think? What's your reaction when you're seeing socialism, especially those elections in New York City that pick those socialist candidates? Is this something that the whole country should be watching with a little bit of nervousness, anxiety? Yeah.
Well, first of all, happy 4th of July. I mean, this is an amazing time for our country. It's just, think about this. There's 6.5 billion, 7 billion people on the planet, and we're the lucky ones. We're the lucky 300 million.
True.
That were born in this amazing country. And it was built on peace and prosperity and freedom. So it is highly distressing to think that we actually have politicians that want to give us less freedom. I mean, it's really disheartening, to say the least. And we're seeing this in so many of our major cities now. New York City has a socialist mayor. Chicago has a socialist mayor, and socialist/communist. And then you have the situation, of course, with what's happening in Los Angeles, where, they have two socialists running for mayor, so it's Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Seattle. So is it concerning? It sure is. And the question is, why is it happening? You look at what happened in New York and the election of a whole slew of these, what they call Democrat socialists, who want to get rid of the ICE. They want to eliminate the Pentagon. They want to get rid of publicly traded corporations so that everyone has a ownership in the companies. They want to have free food, free rent, free transportation. Who's going to pay for all this? So it is diabolical. It is so wrong. And I've been thinking a lot about this, Annie, and I think it's a real failure of our education system that you have so many of these young people who embrace socialism. And the last thing I'll say, and I know I've been going on, but when I give lectures on college campuses, I don't do it as often as I used to, but I used to do it a lot, and I still do it occasionally. Then I'll talk about, freedom versus communism and, capitalism versus socialism. And all these kids would come up to me afterwards, but they wouldn't be the American kids. They'd be the kids who grew up in Hungary or the kids who grew up in Poland or the kids who grew up in Cuba. And they're saying, what is wrong with these people? I came to this country to find freedom, and my schoolmates want to give up freedom. So it is a dangerous time for America, but look, we're going to prevail. I think this is a bunch of idiots in blue cities that have taken charge, and all the more reason red states and red cities have to get it right.
Yeah, amen to that. Steve Moore speaking with us right now. Last week, towards the end of the week, there were, I think at the time, 13 Democrats who came out and said, this is a Big Ten party, but we're in the Democrat Party. They didn't say, I think we're going to flip our party affiliation here, but they said, we're capitalists. We're not socialists. Can Democrats have a big enough tent where they welcome in capitalists and socialists?
Well, this is the problem. I mean, look, you've got, 10 to 20% of the party that is now, completely dingbat, left-wing socialism. Go Che Guevara, people who wear Che Guevara T-shirts, because Che Guevara murdered, hundreds and hundreds of people. But the problem I see is I don't see any of these national Democrats like, someone like Gavin Newsom, who's, could very well be the Democrat nominee in 2028, or these other governors. Why aren't they speaking out against this? It's one thing. It's not enough to be quiet and just keep your lips sealed. No, you have a responsibility as an American, and if you care about the Democratic Party, to speak out against these people. But they're afraid to, and do they care so much about their stupid jobs that they're not willing to protect America against these crazy ideas that have taken root in so many cities? I don't know. When is one of these going to, Annie, when is one of them going to say this emperor wears no clothes?
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to have to speak up sooner or later, I hope, because I don't think it's going to be tenable for the party. It does occur to me that the socialism creep that's taking place right now in our country, it seems like it slowly devours. That in order to push back against socialism, you'd have to look it square in the eye and make a concerted effort to push it back. You can't kind of demean it. You can't relegate it to the corner and let them have their little space to destroy. That you would have to do maybe what the Democrats were doing last week and come out and call it out. But 13 Democrats of people whose names not a lot of people know is not going to be enough to do it. Like you said, we need some national figure pushback.
That was 13 in Congress, or?
Yeah, there was some congressmen.
There's 210 of them.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Only 13 had the courage to stand up and say, this is lunacy. This is going to bankrupt our country. It's going to make us poor. I mean, there's a reason that the United States has become the richest country in the world. Our middle class, the average median income family today in the United States is close to $90,000. In most countries, that's rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this idea, the middle class, look, Elon Musk now has apparently $1 trillion. But think of all the millionaires he's made, the people who make over $100,000 now, the people who are getting these incredible services. That's what America is about. You get rich by making other people rich. And this assault against the free enterprise system is really very, very troubling. And, the other thing I was going to say is, you look at some of these candidates who won in New York City. I think 2 or 3 of them were graduates from Columbia University. I mean, that's an Ivy League school, Annie.
Yeah.
What the hell are they learning?
Amen to that. Yeah, not love for country, that's for sure.
It's almost like the more education they get, the stupider they become.
Quoting that one, writing that down, Steve Moore. Before we let you go, I just wanted to ask you if you could sum up in the minutes that we have left with you. Where are we right now with the Trump economy? Because the Iran conflict certainly has an effect on it. What are people missing right now because they're super locked in on gas prices, which are coming down? But how is the Trump economy doing? How is the economic plan that the administration brought in? What kind of success are they or aren't they having?
I'm pretty bullish generally. I mean, I think we've got record high stock values, and probably everybody listening to the show has money in the market, either in your retirement plan or your individual savings plans. We've got taxes lower. We're reducing regulatory costs. We're trying to get rid of the fraud in government programs. By the way, why are the Democrats not going after fraud?
No.
They like it? I mean, it really is unbelievable.
Maybe they need it.
At one point that they believed in good government, now they just believe in big government, whether it's good government or not. So anyway, I think that we could be at the beginning stages of a boom. We have a pro-business president. He's a free market capitalist. We're going to reduce taxes. We're going to reduce regulations. We're going to we have to lead the AI fight. I know a lot of people are very anxious about AI, but it's coming, and we have to make sure the United States leads this, not China.
Yeah, and to have the minds in the administration that are considering that as such is so important. Oh man, you ever sit and think back if Kamala Harris would have won?
Sorry, say again.
Do you ever sit back and think about just what Kamala Harris presidency would have looked like at this point?
It would have been scary, right? I mean, I'll just give you one example. Trump has been all in on American oil and gas. We're producing more oil and gas than any time in the history of our country. We're now leading the world in oil and gas production. Kamala Harris wanted to shut it all down. We'd be saying, if you don't like paying $4 a gallon gasoline, what would $10 a gallon gasoline feel like?
Yeah, she'd be telling you it's your patriotic duty. All right.
Right.
Steve Moore, we're grateful.
Speaking of patriotic duty, but I was listening to your weather forecast. I'm in D.C. We're facing similar heat wave here that they're calling a heat dome over the next week, and it's going to be 98 degrees, unfortunately, on the 4th of July here. But have you been reading about what's happening in Paris and in these European countries?
No
Britain?
AC?
They don't allow air conditioning, these idiots. I mean, my God, these are the people who say, oh, my God, global warming is coming. Then when it gets warm, they don't have air conditioning.
I saw as like the mayor or some sort of like low-level government said that the United States is partly responsible for their heat wave. And I was like,
I'm not surprised.
I'm not even clicking on that link to find out why that idiot
We're the
thinks
villains,
that.
right? We're the villains.
Of course. Thank you for being with us.
You know, Donald Trump is so powerful, he can change the weather.
Yeah, I wish he could. He'd make it a little cooler here and maybe for D.C. for the 250.
That's what they think.
Take care, Steve. We're happy 4th. We appreciate you.
Happy 4th, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.